What a year.
It's the end of the year, fellas.
2022 is in the books.
It is. It really
and we
is.
want to thank all of you for coming out and seeing our podcast in a theater the way it should be seen.
Yeah, thank you so much. Movies are made here, and we make them better by critiquing them and telling you if you should see them.
Since the Smile, was it Smile that did that? Since the Smile movie, have you guys seen any other movies with a welcome back from the director or the actor?
I don't think so. Not since then.
Interesting. Okay.
I don't know.
Maybe
it happened. I don't know. All I know is that heartbreak feels good at a podcast like this.
Oh man, there's a great. I don't know what episode.
Oh man, we've had some heartbreakers this year too.
There was a great
We'll talk about them.
I'm not sure what episode it's in, but there's an episode where we talk about how they should do the sequel to the Nicole Kidman AMC hype video, and look, I don't know when it's going to happen, but
to me, it is the most anticipated sequel of 2023,
without question,
bar none.
Yeah, we need to do a special emergency podcast as soon as we see it's out. One of us needs to alert the other so we can all go see whatever movie we need to go see. I don't care what the movie is. We just need to critique.
Just got to be at AMC.
Yeah, just got to be.
Yeah,
what a year.
I don't want to have to watch it on YouTube, and I don't want to watch some crappy handycam rip either.
No,
I want to.
It's going to be on TikTok immediately.
I want to see
someone's phone video
is the projector still on?
Will they dim the light?
Dim the lights. They should.
The projector is still on is one of the most pretentious things that a movie screen has ever said to me.
Please update them.
I'm like,
they do.
It's been the same since 2000 whatever, and they gotta stop.
29.
We get it. Yeah. It's cool. It's very rich colors. Okay, move on.
True black. Got it.
True black.
It's funny though, for a colorblind individual as myself, for the longest time, even with their projector still on, I didn't know there was a man doing the flame throwing part. Couldn't see him. Too dark.
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
I'll admit that it took me a few times to understand what the joke was, because I kept thinking, of course the projector's still on. Who would think it turned off? And then I was like, this is just a bad joke. Okay.
The idea is that it must be so dark in the theater because the screen is so black that it's almost as black as if it wasn't on. One of my favorite pre-movie, here's how cool the movies are, hype videos that used to run was at Regal, when they had some kind of like super surround sound that they had created, and it was like,
around.
Yeah. Like, and you would hear it move around the theater. That was always like, I like that. I don't know why.
Yeah.
When you're right in the middle, it was perfect.
Yeah, I agree. So this is our end of the year show. We might as well just get into it because we got a lot of ground to cover on this one. One of my favorite episodes of the year. It's always fun to go back and talk about the movies we loved and didn't and were surprised by. Because a lot of times, it includes movies we didn't fully cover on the show. Gives us a nice chance to talk about some other good stuff. It's just all around a good time. However, this time we're doing something a little bit different at the start. Every year, it seems that Spotify Wrapped gets more and more popular. More and more people.
There are other variations as well.
There are others. Now you've got Apple Music Replay. Amazon does one. YouTube does one. Everybody wants to see their data in a pretty graphic at the end of the year. And we're doing that. We're doing that for you. For so many sequels. We're gonna have a Wrapped for you. All created by our data analyst, David.
Yes, I've combed through all of our episodes for the most part. And I have come up with some interesting facts, mostly inspired by my Pick a Pit facts, which went over pretty well.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to get into some of them because I think that it ought to be some interesting stuff. And I think it'll be reveal some things. Now, I did not go through could not figure out what our aura was. I'm not sure if we're wistful focused. I'm not sure if we're defiant happy or if we're hopeless confident. I think that's what Josh is.
Confident hopeless.
Confident hopeless. There you go. So I'm not sure what, in terms of a podcast, we are if we're one of those things. I know what were our fans? Our fans were like enthusiastic, fat.
Yeah, so Spotify gives podcasters their Wrapped. We posted them on our Instagram and Facebook page, so go check those out. And I believe that they called our fans enthusiastic, which is great.
I assume that means they listen right away. And if you're listening right away to this podcast, hey, go to Apple and give us a review. We'll read your reviews right here on the show.
Yes.
We can say that.
Go to our Patreon so we can hang out with you in our Discord channel. A little bit of a contribution goes to the podcast. We talk about movies. We talk about games that we play. We talk about a lot of stuff.
That should be your top New Year's resolution this year, is to join the Patreon at patreon.com/so-many-sequels. Just search it in the app. You'll find us. It's a very cheap entry fee of $1. If you can swing it, we would greatly appreciate it.
And if you can't do that, then that's where we would also love your reviews.
Yes, give us a review.
SFRE.
Check us out basically any social media platform. You search So Many Sequels podcast, you'll find us.
And we had listeners in 17 countries this year,
which is wild to me.
It is wild, isn't it?
That's one more.
I don't know how many. I don't know how many. I don't know if we're big in Europe or a European country. I don't know. But 17, someone in 17 different countries listened to this show. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Anyway, so here's a bit of our season 4 breakdown. We reviewed 42 movies in total, which is a good number. That's usually about what we do, I would think, is about 42. Because we do about one every week. And it's been a long year, but it's been a good year of movies, I think. We have reviewed 212 total now. So it just keeps adding up over the years. 212 is a pretty good. That's a pretty good show, I think. So there's plenty. If you don't want to listen to the new ones, there's plenty of old ones you can go back and listen to. We reviewed this year in 2022, 15 sequels. We reviewed 18 2022 movies. And I also have this number. We have been told in the past that we need some more older movies. Out of our 212, 20 are from pre-1980. And then
that is a marked improvement.
It is especially from when we got that comments, if I remember. So we need some older movies. And now, so we got 20 movies from pre-1980. We have 70 from post-2018. So we've got a lot of recent movies, but that's good too. I'm going to give a little brief rundown of the box office here for the year. Top Gun Maverick is the #1 movie of the year, and I don't think that's going to change. Black Panther Wakanda Forever is #2, Doctor Strange #3, and Jurassic World Dominion #4. I assume that what will make it into the top 5 by the end of the year is Avatar 2, The Way of Water. After its opening weekend, it's sitting at 134 million, just in the #12 spot. So I assume that'll jump up there eventually. And worldwide numbers are, for most part, the same movies.
Worldwide numbers only belong to Pitbull.
That's true. He's Mr. Worldwide. We, So Many Sequels, reviewed 6 of the top 10 highest grossing movies of 2022. So you can go and check all of those out. And we did 10 of the top 20. And then we also did 7 of the top 10 worldwide. And then I wanted to briefly mention some box office bombs of the year as well, because we did review some of these. Some bombs that you might not think, it might not seem like they were, but The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, starring The Northman, bombed. It seemed like it was doing really well, and then it just didn't hold out. I think, honestly, the one that hurts the most to say is the Bob's Burgers movie. Did not make back its budget, which is too bad, because I love Bob. I love Bob.
Yeah. That's a shame.
I love Tina. Bros is also a bit of a failure. This one's not very fair because it wasn't in that many theaters. Cyrano, starring Peter Dinklage.
Yes.
And then the one that probably I don't know if we're gonna do our bottom 5. It might be in someone's bottom 5, but Amsterdam bombed pretty hard as well. And then finally, the one that I will never forgive the Pixar community for, Lightyear, bombed pretty. Bomb is a strong word. It did not do Pixar numbers. And
not even
this
close.
This was Pixar's big return to the theaters, and we let them down. So don't be surprised if some of those other ones show up on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
In the end, the highest grossing movie that we reviewed was Top Gun Maverick. The lowest grossing movie that we reviewed was A Glass Onion.
On a technicality.
On a technicality.
On stupidity.
I was gonna. And then if you remove that technicality, it would be Bob's Burgers. The Letterboxd game. This is the one I think everybody wants to know about.
Yeah.
The Letterboxd game this year. At the end of every show, we do guess what the movie's made on Letterboxd, our favorite review site. And this year, the king is back on his throne. It is me. I am the winner with a staggering 19 wins. 19 wins, y'all.
19
wins.
Is that a record?
If it's not, it should be. I won, I think, 8 straight towards the end there, and then I gave Josh the win on Ernest Saves Christmas. It was petty, but it was necessary.
I swear to God, if Josh beat me by 1, though, I will be angry.
Oh, yeah.
No, that might be also why I did it, because you and Josh finished tied at 9.
Oh, man.
9 apiece for Josh and Garrett. And then Andrew, who wasn't in very many shows this year, he had 2, but he got 2 good ones. He got Coda. Andrew, I think you were on 6 episodes and you went 2 for 6. So that's not too bad. It's
not the worst record.
No. Yeah. At one point you were 2 for 2. You had only done 2 shows and you got won both of your Letterboxd games. So.
I'm more upset about the 10-win gap between Garrett and I and you, David.
Yeah.
That is an embarrassing lead you have on us.
I know. And it wasn't really, I didn't really notice until I was it was 12, 7, and 6. And I was like, oh, I've got a lot of wins this year. This is nice. And then all of a sudden there was a stretch between Halloween and Christmas where I was like, uh-oh. I just kept winning, and I'm not tired of it yet.
You'll never get tired of winning.
My favorite The stat that I was the stat that one of the stats that really triggered why I wanted to make this Spotify Wrapped was how many direct hits did we have?
Oh,
and we had 16 direct hits on Letterboxd in terms of our guesses. I also had the most direct hits with 7. Garrett had 4, Josh had 3, and Andrew had 2. So both of Andrew's wins were direct hits, which is pretty good.
You know what, Andrew?
We need a point system. We need a point system. I tell you what, because if we had a point system for something like that, I feel like Andrew.
He should. That would be an edge.
If even with his lack of whatever, he would have come in not last.
Right?
I don't know where he would have been, but it would have been not last. I know that.
Your system continues to make no sense, yet somehow you guessed them right.
Andrew's 2 hits were World War Z and Coda. He got both of those correct. Garrett, let's do Josh. Josh, you got Crimes of Grindelwald, Pitch Perfect 3, and Hocus Pocus 2 exactly right.
Okay.
Garrett, you nailed it when it came to Hocus Pocus 1. You nailed Fantastic Beasts, and you nailed Pretty Woman. And then for me, it was I Love You Man, Turning Red, Jesse James, The Crazies, Wakanda Forever, and then I also got Glass Onion. So there's that.
Fair enough.
We reviewed a lot of movies this year, guys. What do you think? Do you think our movies we reviewed were mostly good, mostly bad? In the middle?
Honestly, I think they were mostly in the middle. I feel like overall this year has had a lot of middling kind of movies that don't stand out.
I agree.
Based on my reviewing of the list. So I think most of them have been okay.
Yeah. I'll agree.
But I also think that we grade high. I think we grade high on this podcast.
There've been some high points. There've been some low points. On the average, so I went through all of the movies we reviewed this year, took all of their Letterboxd scores, even our most recent one, and averaged it out. And the average So Many Sequel movie was a 3.1 movie. So for the most part, right in the middle.
Pretty average.
Let's see here. Oh, so this was so the highest rated movie on Letterboxd that we reviewed this year was. You guys want to try to guess? What do you guys think the highest rated movie on Letterboxd was that we reviewed this year?
Top Gun Maverick.
That's a good guess.
That's my guess.
Coda. Okay.
Everything Everywhere.
We didn't review.
Oh, we didn't review that one. Dang.
It snuck through.
The Batman. Did we review that
one?
Oh,
we
did review the Batman.
That is one of our most listened to episodes of all time. There's my contribution to the Wrapped.
That's fun.
The Batman is our most listened to.
It's one of them. It's one of the top. I can't remember for sure, but it's one of the top 3.
We got to get some comments on there. Come on. So the highest in terms of the history of Letterboxd, the highest rated movie that we reviewed this year was Fight Club, which has a 4.3. In terms of movies that came out in 2022, it is the Batman and Top Gun Maverick. So in terms of new movies, those are the highest rated ones we did this year. But Fight Club from 1998?
Yeah.
1998.
Yeah.
That's the highest ever. The lowest rated, what do you guys think the lowest rated movie is that we did on Letterboxd this year?
Ernest Saves Christmas. No, that was actually higher than I remember it being.
Yeah, Ernest Saves Christmas was.
Gosh, I don't know. Jurassic World Dominion.
That's a good guess.
That was what I was going to say.
Okay. I can't even remember.
Well, guys, inching out Jurassic World Dominion by just a point was Halloween Ends with a 2.3.
I know that was divisive, but I'm a little surprised it was the lowest of the year.
Right. I was a little shocked too, because I'm looking at it here, and Jurassic World Dominion. I checked these yesterday, so I assume they haven't changed since then. Dominion's sitting at a 2.4, and Halloween Ends is sitting at a 2.3. So that's the lowest of 2020, and that's the lowest one we reviewed this year. It's a 5-way tie for the 5th worst we've ever reviewed. Fight Club's in a 5-way tie for the 2nd highest we've ever reviewed, I think. So my lowest rated movies of the year. Let's get into each of us. My lowest rated movies of the year were Trick or Treat and Bad Santa. I gave both of those 2 stars. Garrett's lowest rated movies of the year were Jurassic World Dominion and Ernest Saves Christmas, both of which he gave 1.5 star, but for very different reasons, I think.
Very different reasons.
And then Josh's lowest rated movie was Fallen Kingdom and Pitch Perfect and Ernest Saves Christmas, which he gave 2 stars to each of those, I believe. So he had a bit of a 3-way tie there. Andrew, I'm pretty sure yours might have been Bad Santa. What did you give that 1.5 last week?
He gave it 2.
No, that was 2. That was 2 stars.
2 stars. Okay. And
the movies I would rate that are bad are Jurassic Park World Dominion. I would say that is my worst one.
So what would you give that? 1.5?
I would give it just a 1.
Okay. Wow.
Dang.
Rough. So that's Andrew's worst movie of the year.
Yeah.
I tried to get tricky and I tried to figure out who the most watched directors and actors we had this year were. But then I realized how hard it is to actually decipher what actors in every movie. So I'm just gonna say Brad Pitt and David Yates. Finally, these are the last little bits here. We watched one new movie that is in the Letterboxd top 250, and that is Fight Club. So far, as a podcast, we have done 10 movies that are in the top 250 on Letterboxd. They are all 3 Lord of the Rings movies, the first Star Wars movie, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Indiana Jones or the Raiders of the Lost Ark, Back to the Future, Silence of the Lambs, and The Dark Knight. Those are the 10 movies we have reviewed in our history that are in the top 250. And that's it. That's our wrap. So there's some fun stats there, some interesting things.
Okay.
That's about all I had.
Nice.
All right. I like
Well done, sir. Well done.
Yes, some surprises in there. I appreciate that. Okay, then let's shift into the feature presentation. Let's go through our collective top 10 of the year as a group here. For those who haven't listened before or who don't remember, we will go around and say our number 10 movie, number 9. We'll talk about it. If it's in someone else's, it's higher up in someone else's ranking, we'll discuss that later, but we'll talk about the movies at one time. Sound good?
Sound good.
Perfect.
Excellent. I guess I'll go ahead and start and say that my number 10 movie of 2022 is Jordan Peele's Nope.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. Is that on anybody else's list this year?
It is on my list, yes.
Okay. So I think that people were disappointed with it initially, which was a bummer because I thought I liked it out the gate. But I know it was divisive at first for some people, and I would like to see it hopefully grow to be more liked over time. It was my top 10. You can go and hear our full thoughts on it on a previous episode of the podcast. Just go search at somanysequels.com. You can hear our full thoughts on it. But Nope is my number 10.
Yeah. It's a good one. Yeah, we should totally listen to our thing. Do we want to? What order do we want to go in here, Josh?
We'll go with you next, David. That will be clockwise for me. So,
yeah, this will be interesting.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go with a movie that I just recently watched, but did not expect to make it in my top 10. I feel like an idiot before I even say it, and that is a movie called The Atom Project. I don't know why, but I really like it.
Yeah.
I saw that movie at the beginning of the year, and I also really like it. But it falls into that category of I freaking couldn't tell you what it was about. I remember it really enjoying it and being surprised by how much I enjoyed it. But amongst everything else, it falls into the middle for me.
Yeah, I understand.
But so I don't remember anything about it other than I remember enjoying it.
There might be some recency bias in terms of my top 10 on that one, but I don't know. It was a time travel movie, but it was a good time travel movie, and I really liked it. And spoiler alert, but I didn't expect it, but I actually cried by the end of it. It caught me off guard, and I felt better about it than I did some of the other movies that are just behind it. So I just bumped it up. I said, why not? So I know that's an out there one, but there you go.
Yeah, I saw that too, and it was good. It's not my top 10, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Did anyone else have any thoughts on the Atom Project? Did you guys see it at all?
I've not seen it yet, no.
Okay. Then Andrew, what is your number 10?
My number 10, I'm going to start this one off with Marcel the Shell with Shoes On.
I'm very jealous that you've seen this. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I don't think any of us have seen it.
No, you're the only one. Please discuss.
Yeah.
It's an A24 movie, and it's extremely different. And I loved this movie, because it was very sweet, and it was very touching in more ways than one.
Okay,
and
good.
I absolutely love this movie. And this is one movie that I hope, I know we're on so many sequels and we talk about sequels. I really hope that they don't make a sequel to this one.
Right.
Because this needs to be a standalone. I'm sorry.
He's getting all choked up thinking about it.
Yeah, look, if you think about it, the movie is almost as kind of its own sequel, because Marcel the Shell is based on a very popular YouTube series from the early days of YouTube, back when YouTube was good and not just ads and gamers. Sorry to the gamers, but I don't watch you. I wanted to see it, but I don't think it had a wide release.
It didn't.
And it didn't stay in theaters for long, so I never got a chance to hit it in the theater. So I'm going to have to catch it at home. But good. I'm glad
I've heard
to
a
hear
lot
it
of good things. I heard a lot of good things. I think it would have probably made my top 10 just based off of everything I've heard about it. It seems really nice.
Yeah. All right, Garrett, you're number 10.
My number 10 is Elvis.
Elvis is in the building.
Elvis is indeed in the building. For me, this movie really took the cartoonish element away from Elvis and put him back as a person. And over the course of time, I think that Elvis had become a little bit of a cartoonish figure. And I think that this did a good job of telling that story and really bringing him back to life and showing some pieces that people may or may not have seen. Stylistically, it may or may not be your style, but I really connected with it and I thought it was well done in that Baz Luhrmann kind of way. I thought that he put a lot of his own passion into it and you could really feel that. And I thought Austin Butler gave a really great performance as Elvis. And this, I think that overall these pieces really worked. And again, it really humanized a character that had become so much of a bigger character than him himself. And so it was nice to have that.
Yeah, Elvis was right on the cusp of mine. He's at number 11 for me. So really? I got to agree that your placing is good. Yeah, I think that I don't know. I think, Garrett, you said off mic earlier that sometimes you can rate a movie really high and know you'll never watch it again. And that's how I feel with Elvis. I don't know that I'd watch it again. It's a lot and it's very long and I just can't see myself wanting to see it again. But when I saw it, I was really wrapped into it. I think it's a good choice. Not perfect, but it is perfectly enjoyable and very interesting to see parts of his life presented in a different way. That's not a lot of the cookie cutter image you get of Elvis. Okay, great. No one, did you guys have him anywhere near?
I haven't seen it yet. I really wanted to, but I didn't manage to get it on my list. It's
gotcha.
So long. And towards the end of the year, I was trying to get into some short movies.
It's tough. We love short ass movies. Thank you, Pete Davidson, for the great song.
But not as long as Avatar.
Oh, yeah.
We may or may, we'll just wait and see if we get to that or not. Then we will move into my number, The Menu.
Okay, all right.
The Menu is my number 9. Really enjoyed it. This is not one we got to review, but it is I feel like it was presented to me as a horror movie. It's not really. It's more of a thriller with some definite horror aspects, but it's like a dark comedy in a way. Dark comedy, thriller. It's got Ray Fiennes, Anya Taylor-Joy, Nicholas Hoult. It's got a pretty good cast. I do really enjoy Anya Taylor-Joy as an actress. She's been on a really good role lately, I feel like. She's done several movies lately that I've really enjoyed. And I can't say much about it without spoiling it, and it's fresh enough that I don't want to. So I will read the Letterboxd logline, which is, wonderful surprises await you all. A couple travels to a coastal island to eat at an exclusive restaurant where the chef has prepared a lavish menu with some shocking surprises. And they're shocking.
They are shocking.
It doesn't go anywhere I thought, so I really enjoyed it, and I don't want to spoil it, so that's all I'll say.
Yeah. This is also in my top 10. It's a little higher than my number 9. I won't reveal where it's at yet, but I also agree with you, Josh, that this movie really enraptured me. I had an idea of what it was going to be, but I also enjoyed the presentation, if you will. The people who have seen it understand the hopeful pun there of the presentation of this movie. I really enjoyed the way that it was set up, and I connected with a lot of it. And I want to compare it to another movie that we've reviewed, but I connected with the mystery of this more than that other movie personally.
So, really? Because I know immediately what you're saying, but okay. That's fine.
Interesting.
I don't think you're wrong for that. I don't want to fight with that.
So I think that my listing will reveal that also.
Okay.
All right,
David.
Andrew, you saw the Menu.
Oh yeah, you saw it. What did you think?
I did see The Menu, and I loved it, but it didn't so when I made out my list, I've been tinkering with it a little bit. It's an honorable mention. I put it at number 11.
Fair enough.
But I still loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
David?
That's not on the pad you sent me. You have it at number 7.
Yep, but I've changed that since then.
Oh, last minute revisions.
Along
okay.
with number 5.
Right. Okay.
Excellent.
All right. My number 9 movie is a big surprise to me. It was Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. I really dug this. Finally, somebody has the guts to cast Tom Kenny as Mussolini. And this was a very different take on Pinocchio. It wasn't to say, I'm not to pretend that it was, I think, inaccurate of the original tale. It seemed to carry a lot of what that original book and story contained. But just a guy who's has a really specific style, going into a new medium of stop motion animation and putting his stamp on this classic story. And Guillermo del Toro has always said that he really loves the story of Pinocchio. And people will want to compare and contrast it with Walt Disney's Pinocchio. And that's fair, but it's a totally different interpretation. So you won't really see much. I did think that the voice cast was great. I thought that the stop motion was better than some other stop motion movies I saw this year. And I liked the funny thing is the original setting is only like the 1880s, so it's not that far into the future, but it's far enough in that Del Toro can weave in some commentary that honestly feels like it fits. It feels like it works within the framework of Pinocchio's story about individualism and about what does it mean to be alive and things like that. Cool. So that's it. Pinocchio, number 9 for me.
Okay, great. Okay. Yeah, not in my top 10, but I did really enjoy it. And I would say it's probably my favorite iteration of the Pinocchio story. I'm not super familiar with it. People compare it to the Disney one because that's replaced any original text as the definitive. But I also agree that it's not really fair to compare. They're just different interpretations. But this one would be my favorite one.
The 1940s Walt Disney's Pinocchio was such a step forward in so many ways of animation that you have to take some of the good with the bad. You take like the changes with, wow, look what they were able to do back then in 1941. Or yeah, I think that's when it was. Anyway.
Okay, great. Any other comments on Pinocchio? Or shall we move to...
This is in my top 10, but I won't say anything until I get there.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
But
okay, hold on.
All right, well, then what is your number 9 on your list?
My number 9 is Bullet Train.
Thank you.
Okay.
I thought Bullet Train was just an exuberantly overall entertaining flick.
Yes.
And it was, from the time it started to the time it ended, I was just nothing but pleased.
Yes, it was a blast. You are absolutely right, Andrew.
Thank you, Mr. David.
You are right. It will also be appearing on my top 10, and it will be appearing sometime later. But yeah, Bullet Train's a blast. I love that movie. It was, I think it's, we got to do our drinking game. It's a Zombieland movie for me, where it was like, it's exactly what I wanted it to be, and had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I have nothing.
Yeah, it's a great movie. I don't disagree with anything you said. The only thing that I will add is that it is, for me, unfortunately, just a matter of when it came out and what I've seen, right? I feel like it is another version of a movie that I've seen done already and better. Look at Bob Odenkirk's Nobody, for instance, and I feel like it is very similar in that vein. That is not a problem. I'm here for these redemption action movies. Give me more. They're fun. I just didn't think it was quite as good as those, but it is a good movie. It's a whole lot of fun. Watch it on Netflix right now.
Yeah.
Yes, you can. And then
I keep wanting to let my wife watch it, or make my wife watch it, or whatever.
Yes, go watch it on Netflix, and then go listen to our review from our Pick a Pit series earlier in the year.
What about you?
Garrett, what's your number 9?
Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers is my number 9 movie, and I will hear nothing other than great, fantastic love and laughter.
Garrett, this is where you and I again are on the same page. And for me, the recency bias did not impact this. This has been in my top movies all year, basically since it came out, and it has not moved. So
it is hilarious, and it is unexpected how good this is. I think that you probably think, oh, this is going to be Tom and Jerry. It's not, and stop it. I'll slap you if you think it is. It's better than that. It is the closest thing that we have to what we can get to coming out as Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yes.
The humor is hilarious. The animation is fantastic, and it is spanning across different types of animation. And it's John Mulaney and Andy Samberg. You cannot get those two idiots just running around being idiots. It's fantastic. It is so.
They sounded like they had a blast.
Amazing. And it does. It sounds like a project that they were just enjoying, and it feels it. And so it is it was an unsuspecting home run.
It was a surprisingly funny movie from Disney. And I'm not saying that to down Disney. I'm just saying they were jokes that I just didn't think Disney would make, or references that I didn't think Disney would make. And Chip and Dale are some of their most iconic characters, whether it was Rescue Rangers or not. So for them to be so irreverent and silly with the whole thing, my nephew is obsessed with Ugly Sonic. He thinks that is the funniest thing I've seen. He is 5, but he will say, I took him to the restroom, and he's going to the bathroom, and he can take care of himself. So he's going to the bathroom. I'm just standing outside waiting. And he goes, "Hey, Uncle Don." And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Do you like Ugly Sonic?" And I go, "What?" And I go, "Do you like Ugly Sonic?" And I said, "You got to speak up, man." And he goes, do you like Ugly Sonic? And I went, how does he know about Ugly Sonic? I said, yeah, I love Ugly Sonic. He goes, he's my favorite. And then he continues his business, but he loves it. And so like this movie like had so much fun with the whole world of animation, whether it was CG, whether it was performance capture, making fun of that time period in the early 2000s where everything didn't look right. Ton of fun.
Yeah, agreed.
So let's go back to Josh now.
So I unfortunately have to correct some things real quick because the movie may have been mentioned earlier that I forgot to put on my list. And it did, in fact, enter my top 10, which threw off part of my numbers.
Oh, so what are you dropping and moving in?
I unfortunately have dropped Nope from my top 10.
Oh, man.
I can't tell you which one I added in yet because we're not there. But so let me just quickly say that my real number 9 is Selena Gomez's My Mind and Me, the Apple TV Plus original documentary about her struggles with lupus and mental health, and it's quite good. I found it very moving and surprisingly vulnerable for a celebrity of her status.
Here, second all of that.
Okay, so now back on track. My number 8 is the Bob's Burgers movie.
Yeah!
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, I love Bob's Burgers. It's a great TV show. I've loved it for years. I feel like it's really enjoyed a nice period of popularity since it was added to Hulu, or since it's got a big collection on Hulu, because it's really run under the radar for years. For its first several seasons, I feel like nobody talked about it. Because we're in, what is it, 10, 11 seasons in now? Maybe
Something
more?
like that. Yeah. One of those where you could easily, like, why doesn't this just have a shuffle button?
I think this was the middle of, I think the movie is set between the end of season 12 and the beginning of season 13.
Dang.
Yeah.
So it's been running for a long time, but it really feels like it's only been popular as a meme and all that fun stuff that we measure popularity by.
I think like a lot of these movies, it really exploded when it like has its second life on like cartoon, like Adult Swim.
Yeah, Adult Swim.
PBS or whatever.
Yeah. So I loved it. It is a pretty self-contained, expanded Bob's Burgers episode. Most I can say about it. Plus, we've already talked about it in depth. You can go listen to our full review on that on our website, somanysequels.com. But that is my number 8, despite it being the lowest grossing movie we reviewed this year.
That's true.
Shame on you, audience.
Unfortunately.
David?
Oh, me. Or is it Andrew?
No, it's you.
No, it's you.
Okay, me. My number 8 movie of the year is Top Gun Maverick.
Ooh, I expected this to be higher for you for some reason.
Well, I really enjoyed it, but I was just, because I was making the list, I was just kind of, I don't know, it's just some of these other movies I think just had a little something different, a little something extra. And so, yeah, Top Gun Maverick, I placed at number 8 as a solid film, solid sequel. People loved it. This movie did huge. So, yeah, anyway.
People wanting it for a decade and a half or however long it's been. And it's very rare, in my opinion, that a movie far exceeds the original one. We've done the original review. We've done the review of this one too, but I feel like, again, this one is better than the first. And you can listen to both of those reviews. But
I would have to agree. It is higher up on my list.
Higher up on mine.
But I will say that I think when the dust is settled, that's got to have been the most anticipated sequel of 2022, based solely on the reaction. There's still the Avatar question in the air that is lingering. Sure. But the explosive popularity of Maverick can't deny it.
It just an overwhelming monster at the box office as well. Over $700 million domestically, which is something that outside of Fast and Furious movies and EU movies and Star Wars films.
It gave Tom Cruise his biggest hit 40 years into his career. Insane.
Yeah.
And nothing's going to catch it. I mean, Avatar might, but I don't think it will. I think Avatar probably tops off in the 500 million range domestically. Internationally, it probably blow it away.
Right. Yes. But people like to forget that. Avatar,
but Top Gun did well internationally as well.
Okay, Andrew, your number 8.
My number 8 is Vengeance.
Oh,
good choice.
That is a good choice.
I appreciate that.
Hold on.
Oh, he's making a joke.
The Batman.
There you go.
Yeah, you caught me.
There was also a movie called Vengeance this year. What was Vengeance about?
We'll get into it later.
Anyway,
it's my number 12. It's really good.
The Batman is
Andrew, talk about the Batman.
It's also in my top 10, Andrew, so you're helping me out there.
I don't think Andrew's here. Let me just say that.
Oh man, Andrew always freezes on his normal smiling face.
It's a good time to freeze. You got that cheese on.
Man is also in my top 10.
Same.
I think it's in Garrett's.
Yeah, I will say, I'll talk about it because it's my number 7, so I'll just get it out the way now. We can talk about it. It is, I really appreciate it. I know this is controversial amongst people because I think people really have come to expect a different kind of Batman. And this movie was so long, and if you didn't like the kind of Batman that you were presented, then you walked away not appreciating it, and I get it. I do. I disagree with it because this gave you something that you haven't seen a version of every single time over and over again. And it is a detective, something different. Again, we reviewed it. You can go check it out. But
Andrew's face.
I know.
Yeah, I also said it in our podcast. Go listen to that, our most listened podcast. Josh informed us earlier in the show. It is like everything I've ever wanted in a Batman movie, and I will be mentioning it later on in my list as well. But yeah, it blew me away. It blew me away, and it will probably be one of my favorite movies for
life.
Probably.
Oh wow, you meant it. Okay.
Yeah.
We're still talking about the Batman, right?
We are still talking about the Batman.
Welcome back. Welcome back, man. Welcome back. Hey, sometimes stuff happens.
Look up this Vengeance movie now.
No, I will say that Vengeance is also a really good movie, but I chose the Batman because the Batman is this, like, number one, it did the Riddler justice.
Agreed.
Number two, it holds up very well. Like, I recently watched it again not too long ago, and I'm like, this actually is still really good.
Yeah.
Like, it still has it. And I must say that the only time you should really watch this is when it's raining outside. So here in Oklahoma, where we had 2 weeks of like rain and overcast days, I'm like, I'm just going to put this on. And all of a sudden, the mood was set.
I'll tell you what, Andrew's movie moods are like this isn't the first time that you've referenced watching a movie when you're in a certain.
That's right.
It's like turn a movie on now.
It's all about vibes.
I got this pretty quickly after it came out on Blu-ray, and it's also on HBO Max, but I would rather watch it on Blu-ray. But I've yet to rewatch it, and so I'm glad you say that. But like the thing is, over here, it's really hard to get 3 hours of myself. So I plan to watch it at some point. I just got to find that moment.
Yeah, it will. If there's another 2 weeks of rain, maybe it'll take you about that long to finish it.
Maybe.
It is long. All right, Garrett, you're number 8, I think.
My number 8 is actually a comedy special that I watched earlier this year. It's Gerard Carmichael's Roth. I don't think anybody outside of Josh and myself have seen it. Gerard Carmichael, the comedian, he had a TV show. Was it on ABC?
NBC.
NBC. It was NBC, the Carmichael show. Really good, really underappreciated, and definitely worth a watch. You should really go watch it.
He hosted SNL this year, I think, too.
He did host SNL during this release. And again, I don't want to say too much about it, but for me, this is not necessarily a comedy special that you would expect, right? He makes an announcement and then he deals with this announcement in real time with the audience. There's interaction, there's questions, there's answers, there's thoughts, there's feedback. It's very creative. I think it was directed by Bo Burnham. I don't want to confirm.
I believe you're right. Yeah.
Okay. And so it's really well thought out. And so I had the announcement itself spoiled for me. So I knew going into it. And so going into it, I really got to appreciate what he was doing in his writing style. He was setting you up a certain way. And then as you progress, knowing what he's building up towards, I could see that storytelling. And it was really beautifully done. It really stood out. I don't know, Josh, you didn't know the reveal. Did you have that same, did you have a different experience than me? Because this is so high, because I knew what I was getting into, but a lot of people didn't when they watched it.
It was a similar experience, I think, because I didn't expect it. So it was like, oh, this is not what I thought it was going to be, which made it all the more fascinating to watch unfold. You said earlier, he's had a nice burgeoning career with a great sitcom, The Carmichael Show, and I've been following him since then. So it's been interesting to see him grow, and this is one of those stand-up specials that's almost more one-man show than stand-up. It's, if anyone is familiar with Hannah Gadsby's Nanette special that was really popular on Netflix, that is a similar kind of vein where it's, oh, this is really actually deep about your life wrapped in jokes. So it's good. I agree. It's very good. It's a good pick.
I've not seen it, unfortunately.
I believe you can watch that on HBO Max, unless they pull it, because they're doing that now.
It's true.
I had to get a little dig.
Oh, it's on HBO Max.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay.
So my number 7 is, I forgot it was this, the Weird Al story.
Oh, really?
Yes. Weird Al, that's good.
All right, that's
Loved
fascinating.
it. Loved the Weird Al Yankovic story. Love Weird Al. What can be said? Go listen to our episode about it.
Yeah.
We did a fun little bonus episode when it came out. It's available to stream for free on the Roku channel. You just have to figure out how to get that.
Yeah. It's worth it. Download, get your free trial, watch this movie, enjoy it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be Weird Al. It's going to be Daniel Radcliffe really enjoying himself. And
Daniel Radcliffe nominated for some acting awards this year for that role.
He should be. He did a great job for the movie that they built.
He's intense in that. It's fun.
It is. All right.
Yeah, I didn't catch the bit. Oh, sorry. At my number 7 is Jordan Peele's Nope.
Okay.
And it was a situation where a lot of people I think wanted it to be scarier. And I found there to be scary elements, sure. But I actually thought it was just a very, very cool movie, very interesting movie. And I really did dig into the theme of it. And I was very much trying to pick it apart, trying to think about it. And it just stuck with me. As the year went on, I just kept going back and I would see somebody talk about it and see somebody ask a question about it. But yeah, I don't know. It hung around and I really like it. I gave it 4 stars at the time. I think I still give it that today. So good deal. Jordan Peele's Nope at number 7.
I'm glad I didn't waste everyone's time by talking about it as my accidental number 10. I'm glad someone had it in their list. Yeah. Okay.
Andrew, our podcast version of that.
Yes. Andrew, what's your number 7? He ain't here. Okay.
No. Oh man, yeah.
You're not wrong though. For people not watching the video version, the video people will see it. His video is freezing it very appropriate.
Oh man, he's
sped up.
I know he was in The Conjuring.
Fast forward, bro.
Well, this is perfect timing because
you're number 7.
I was just asking you. You're number 7.
Oh, he's on mute, and now he's frozen, and now he's breathing.
Bad internet day. I'd tell you what, Andrew's so photogenic because
he thought he was pulling a joke, but then he actually froze.
Yeah, see? Boy who cried wolf.
You mess with the bull, you get horns, man.
Yeah.
Now you're frozen again.
Oh man. I have Andrew.
I guess so.
Disembodied voice?
No.
You're just gonna have to turn off your video.
Yeah.
This is comical.
I have Andrew's number 7 if it comes down to it.
What do you got, number 7?
It is Elvis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Elvis. There you go.
And
so
I
Garrett,
loved Elvis. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. No, you're fine.
The only thing I was going to say is that Elvis, it started out really strange.
Yeah.
But it gained momentum as it went on. And the movie is what makes the movie is purely Austin Butler. Austin Butler just floored it as Elvis. Yeah. And that really is for the longest time, I'm like, this is one of the best performances of the year. And it overall just wanted me to learn a little bit more about Elvis. And I'm glad it wasn't really run of the mill about Elvis.
Yeah.
So there we go.
I mean, maybe you guys can tell me because I still haven't seen it, but it also feels, based on clips that I've seen, it feels like a real indictment of, what is his name? Colonel Parker.
Colonel Parker, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It feels like a real character. Assassination might not.
Yeah. Plus, it's just a real performance by Tom Hanks, and not my favorite.
Yes.
I did not enjoy
it. That's where the stylistic elements come in, and you may or may not agree with it. I got what he was going for, and so it didn't bother me, but I get it.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
No, that's okay. This is a real. We're holding this show together with threads. It's okay.
Man, I tell you what. Yeah, just don't feel me bad.
What's your number 7?
My number 7, we already talked about, boys. It is The Batman. I got nothing else to add than what I already added. So let's move on to number 6.
My number 6 is probably going to be just a conversation between Andrew and I. It's Steven Spielberg's The Fabelmans.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to see it yet, but I want to.
Really nice, thoughtful movie. If anyone has earned the ability to make a biopic about themselves, it is Steven Spielberg. But he does it in a way where it's not Steven Spielberg, right? He wrote characters based on him and his family, but a lot of the stories or a lot of the scenes in the movie are plucked from his real life. So it is more of it's inspired by his life versus a biopic. And I feel like there's some confusion there. But man, it reminds me of why I love movies. And that feels cliche to say because everyone has been using that as hyperbole. There's a line in there that's, what is it, Andrew? Movies are dreams that become real or something. I don't know. It gave me goosebumps, and I'm a nerd.
I don't remember what it was, but yeah, it was something along those lines.
It's great. You're seeing this young boy learn to love film at a time where film is becoming more accessible to the public in terms of video camera equipment and being able to make it at home. So you're able to see these cool ways that he did special effects as a child. And there's a scene in there where he's filming a real movie that Steven Spielberg made when he was 13 years old, like a home video of a war scene. And you see how he did some cool, really clever special effects to make gunshots and ricochets and all that. So it's really nice, and it's a feel good. It's a feel good. So that's the favorite.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Every now and then, a Spielberg movie seems to fly under the radar, because The Fabelmans definitely seems to have flown under the radar quite a bit. And it really reminds me of, I know the movie's probably nothing like this, but it reminds me in that way of Bridge of Spies. That's a Spielberg movie that's highly reviewed and acclaimed, but for whatever reason, just nobody, I don't remember anybody being like, oh, Bridge of Spies, it's the new big Spielberg movie. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, Vern?
God damn it.
So I look forward to seeing it, though.
Okay.
What?
That was worth coughing.
You're number 6, David, if you can speak.
The Banshees of Inisherin.
Hey!
Oh, I want to see that one too. I'm behind on all the good movies. I've seen the trailer.
I will let you guys know. I cannot explain why I like the movie. That's not to say that. I hope that don't take that as a negative review. I can't. It's very difficult to really put into words why I walked away liking it. The performances are very good. Colin Farrell's great, and so is Brendan Gleeson. The Colin Farrell's sister, played by Carrie Condon, very good. Barry Keoghan, who at first I didn't even really recognize, and then I did. He's also fantastic. It is a very
Irish movie.
It's super chill. And yes, I did have to turn the subtitles on.
Absolutely.
Because I understand some Korean movies better than I understood this. And then so I had to turn on the subtitles because they were losing me. The movie does not tell you right away when it's set. So I was very confused as to when and where. Did you see it, Andrew? I was very confused. At what point in time is this? Because some people seemed to be living in thatched roofs, and then other people the bar looked like it had taps. I was like, what time is this? They do eventually reveal it in a very nice way. But yeah, it is a chill movie. It is the perfect kind of low energy where there's no rush. If there's anything wrong with it, it's a tad repetitive, but that is a byproduct of the characters, that it is a problem with the story. It is that repetitiveness is reinforcing the main character flaws of the main character. So if you guys get a chance to see it, I think you'll love it. Andrew, do you have anything to say about that one?
It was like, I liked it. It took me a little bit to wrap my head around, but all in all, I liked it. I thought it was good. It's not in my top 10, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I give it a good rating.
Yeah.
I love the scenery of it.
Oh yeah.
The scenery's beautiful.
Scenery's gorgeous. And there are things that happen in it that are just like, they're presented very matter-of-factly. There's not that much subterfuge. It's just like, it happens right in front of you.
I really enjoyed it too. It is.
You saw it, Josh? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, I did. I watched it on HBO the other day. It is a great story about why men should talk to each other about their feelings, because I've never seen a better movie that it demonstrates two men who just refuse to talk to each other and instead would rather fight about it.
They're stuck on an island.
But that's what makes it funny, right? Because it's nominated as best comedy at the Golden Globes or whatever, but I can see why people would be like, is that a comedy? It's funny, but it's not, you're not going to laugh out loud. But yes, I recommend it.
It's more just the premise is humorous. And it's what happens if I relate it to you, I could tell it in a very funny way. Yeah. But it is, anyway, so it's my number 6 movie of the year. I hope it wins the Golden Globe, even though I don't watch that crap show.
Andrew, you're number 6.
My number 6 is, we've already discussed this one, Top Gun Maverick.
Perfect. Yes.
And
perfect.
I won't say any more than that.
Okay.
Let's
one of 2 Glenn Powell movies this year where he's a pilot.
I think that means they got to give him a license.
Officially.
Garrett, what's your number 6?
I'm very excited about this guy because my number 6 movie of the year, I feel like is going to inspire some conversation because we haven't reviewed it, but everyone that's seen it has liked it in their own special way. My number 6 movie of the year is Barbarian.
Oh, okay.
Barbarian is on HBO Max currently. You can watch it. It is a horror movie, And I don't want to talk about a lot of it because it is just batshit. And that's the only way that I can really describe whatever you're about to get into. It's unsettling. It's upsetting. It is the proper amount of time for you to feel those emotions and then it end and then go, I liked that, right? Yeah. It was weird. It was unsettling. It was unpleasant. And I didn't like it, but I liked it. And it was the perfect, if had it been 20 minutes longer and I wouldn't have liked it. But it was perfectly executed and knew what it was, even though we didn't. And such an unexpected experience that I watched it again and was still had the same, what is happening kind of reaction.
Dread.
Yes, the same tension, the same craziness. Even though I knew what was coming, it was still, what is this craziness?
Yes. So that's your number 6. That's a terrifying movie. It was quite scary. It, like you said, for me, it ended at the perfect time because it was the exact moment where I went, don't want to watch any more things happen. This is scaring me. Yes. It couldn't have ended at a better time for me. There's a really funny moment in it towards the end that was, it almost felt like it didn't fit. It felt like something out of like The Simpsons, and I laughed quite heartily, which was good. I don't know if they wanted that. Maybe they wanted to relieve some tension. It's an onion, and I know people say that all the time, but the more you peel it, the more it stinks. No, I'm just kidding. The more you peel it, the more you find, because like it just kept going and going. There's just more. Oh, okay. There's this. Okay, and then you peel that a little bit. Oh, now this thing is happening, and it just. I couldn't have told you where this movie was going to go based on anything.
It's a fever dream, and that's why I liked it.
Yeah.
No, that was a perfect tee up for me. Number 5 is Barbarian. My number 5 is Barbarian. I will second everything that they both said and add that one of my favorite movie theater experiences of all time is when I watch a movie with a plot twist so insane it feels like I got hit with a sack of bricks. And that's what this plot twist did to me. Much respect to Barbarian. It reminded me of Malignant, a similar experience for me in the last year.
And I think the director of Barbarian liked our tweet, didn't he?
He did. So thank you. David, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is probably, I'm the only one who's going to have this on his list. And that is Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. And this was, I think, the highlight of the MCU this year. I think this was a overall pretty good movie for me. I enjoyed myself. I pretty much enjoyed all the performances. Angela Bassett, I hope she gets on that Best Supporting Actress list. And yeah, it was just, for me, when I think of the MCU, when I think of Marvel Studios movies, I just have this, they're movies that are just like set like standard setters. And I feel like the other movies we got this year were so focused, I think, on things like the multiverse and things like Thor: Love and Thunder. As entertaining, as funny as I thought it was, I feel like didn't do as much as it could to explore any of those characters. But this, I felt like it gave you a lot of time. It explored the characters, and I thought Namor, great. I love him. So anyway, that's my number 5.
Okay. Did anyone else have Black Panther: Wakanda Forever in their top 10?
Nope.
I knew.
Okay. Yeah, me neither.
I've been new.
Andrew, what is your number 5?
My number 5 is Glass Onion.
Okay. Yes. Glass Onion, which I'll just quickly plug real quick that we're about to drop a spoiler-filled review of that movie.
Or it may have already dropped. Who knows?
I don't know. It might exist. Yes, but look for it.
Depending on the time when you're listening to this podcast, it may or may not exist.
Yeah, we have a spoiler-free as well as a spoiler-heavy episode, and it may just be my memory, but I feel like we had a lot of fun with the spoiler free or the spoiler.
So much more fun.
Heavy.
So much more fun.
Yes,
we were laughing a lot. So go check it out.
End of plug. Continue, Andrew.
That's all right. No, this was an altogether fun, enjoyable whodunit, which we don't have a lot anymore. And truth be known, I feel like this movie was like a welcome back in many ways, because I think we need more of these kinds of films. And it had a great cast. It had an expertly written script. And it was just it was definitely longer than its predecessor, Knives Out, but it certainly didn't feel like that. And it just made it even more fun. Bravo to Rian Johnson.
Agreed. Yeah, I loved Glass Onion. It was terrific.
Yes, it's on my list. We're not there yet, but also we've done 2 episodes about it, so I won't talk too much more. It's just I really enjoyed it too. Please go listen to our other episodes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Also on my list, but we ain't hit it quite.
So that's high praise right there. That tells you a lot.
Well, then, Garrett, what is your number 5?
My number 5 is one that we have talked about. It is Top Gun Maverick.
Lovely.
Again, I don't want to say too much about it. It's good. It's fun.
That's how it always goes.
Watch it on the biggest screen with the loudest thing, and then you'll be in a great mood.
That's how it always goes. Is that 2 of us or 3 of us will we'll put like a movie that's in everybody else's like top 3 in like our bottom, like in our bottom 3, like in our like 7, 8 range, and then the last few movies like already talked about this one. Already talked about this one. It's great.
All right, we're approaching the higher end of the list now. My number 4, something else we've covered already. This also happens every time we get toward the end. The Batman is my number 4 movie. I saw it twice in theaters, and
that's dedication. You hate long movies.
I do, but I watched it twice in theaters.
That says a lot. That should tell you everything you need to know about Batman. Is Josh has the bladder of a small seahorse,
very small child, and also the constant thirst of someone in the desert. I must have a big drink with me, and I must empty it all the time.
Yes,
it's a curse.
Hey, this is a great time to plug Run Pee, where you can download it'll tell you when
I use it all the time
to go pee during a movie where you won't miss as many plot points, and it also is a great resource. Should you ever be interested to see if a movie has something bonus after the credits, you open that up.
Personally,
it'll tell you whether there is or isn't, and it is a fantastic app to have as a resource.
Personally, I don't trust it. One of the many discussions you can get in our Discord is the fact that I have not gone to the bathroom during a movie since I was probably 15 years old. I refuse to go to the bathroom. I paid for this movie. So I always go right before.
I don't ever go to the bathroom during the movie, but it is handy to determine whether or not I want to stay for those long credits and if it's worth it.
During the credits, you can probably, because the credits are there, but you can go and come back. But yeah, it's that, and I've not walked out of a movie before. So some people that they do that all the time. I don't like to walk out on movies, even if they're really bad. I refuse to let the movie beat me.
I have walked out on many a movie, mostly from back in my movie theater days when I worked there and I didn't lose any money anyway. So I was like, this sucks. I'm out. No, I will also back the Run Pee recommendation. It's very helpful. If there's one thing about me, if I'm watching a movie, I'm a pee.
I have never walked out. I've only walked out on one movie in my entire life. And that was, they did like a Deadpool. It was like Deadpool 2, like a retelling or something like that, like at the end of the year.
You may not have walked out of many, but you've sure as hell fallen asleep during a few.
Yeah, you've mentally walked out on every movie you've ever seen. Your brain walked out.
Sometimes you may not leave, but your body or your mind, you have an out-of-body experience where you can't remember a movie.
Oh, that might be my favorite joke of the year right there. That was good. Ooh.
Oh, man.
Man, he do be walking out of movies.
But his body stays.
Look, that 10 Cloverfield Lane?
Look. This is a long episode. I don't care, but very quickly, my favorite time, Andrew, you've ever fallen asleep in a movie with me was the Hateful Eight when you fell asleep during the only good part in the movie. And I'd tell you which one, but I don't think
I fell asleep during that movie twice. So
woke up, fell asleep again.
I did.
Yep.
Well,
what's your number 4?
Well, my number 4 was the reason we did pick a pit. That's Bullet Train. Loved the crap out of this movie. So there you go.
Goodness.
Train, y'all.
Number 4 for Andrew.
Number 4 for Andrew. We have covered it. We have covered this again. Okay. Pinocchio.
There you go.
Nice.
Nice. That's pretty high.
Del Toro's Pinocchio.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
great.
Del Toro. Like, here's my thing about Pinocchio is that like Pinocchio, they have. I don't know why they keep trying to adapting it, try to remake it, because a bit like here recently, they just recently made another Pinocchio.
Yeah,
I think 3 Pinocchios came out this year.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of weird, but whatever.
I would say it. I'm sorry to speculate. I was going to say it has to because it's a very cinematic story. I think. Much like A Christmas Carol. Remember we looked up when we did A Christmas Carol a few years back. Like the first Christmas Carol was like 1901, which was like 40 years after the book was written. I think it's just a very cinematic story. Sorry, Andrew, you can go on.
You're good. But the last time I remember them trying to adapt Pinocchio into any film form was back in 1999 by a man named Roberto Benigni, who did a film called
Pinocchio.
Life is Beautiful, and everybody loved him. And so he did this adaptation of Pinocchio, and it was a flat out disaster. And then I heard about the new one that they released earlier this year, and it looked friggin' scary.
With Sir Thomas of Hanks.
Yeah, him. And yeah, then we had that one with Geppetto that doesn't have Drew Carey. And then we have this one. It's just, good Lord, how many times are they going to do this?
The weirdest
one. You have one that's like actually good. And I will say, Christoph Waltz, I will watch anything that man is in.
That's true. He's good. He's very good.
Yeah, always good.
So, all right, Garrett,
that's my 2 cents.
You're number 4.
My number 4 is Glass Onion, a Knives Out story.
Yes.
Mystery.
Beautiful. My number 3 is Glass Onion, a Knives Out story. Perfect. Again, listen to one of our 2 reviews of that episode, SoManySequels.com. If you have seen it, spoiler review, baby. If you haven't, but you want to know what you're getting into, you can check out our spoiler-free version. They're both there.
Both available. And spoiler for that, we loved it because it is
we did love it.
It's high in our year-end rankings. And I can't wait to watch it again when it pops up on Netflix.
For sure. Rewatchability, 100%.
Yeah.
My number 3 movie is Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers. It's been number 3 for the whole year, basically.
Look at that.
Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, hilarious. We already talked about it earlier in the show. And there might be another familiar one in my number 2 spot.
Okay. Andrew, number 3.
My number 3 was your number 5, Josh.
The Fablemans. The Fablemans. Wonderful.
I have a number 3 that no one's talked about, and I'm excited about it. It's The Black Phone.
Right.
Hey, that's a good one.
A horror movie that came out earlier with Ethan Hawke. It is. I won't say too much, but it is. For me, it was a serial killer meets the Goonies, but it's set in the 1970s, right? And that's those were the general vibes. And now don't go into this movie thinking it's going to be like the Goonies. I'm just saying the vibe of the Goonies. The vibe of the Goonies was there. And it was set in the time period where a serial killer was realistic. Ethan Hawke delivered a really creepy performance for me. Yeah. It has been in the top of my list this whole year, and only recently got bumped from the number 2 spot. I've watched it I've watched it twice, and it still is really a good hold up. It was just a really good surprise that I didn't expect, and I really enjoyed. It's on Peacock or Paramount, one of the 2.
I thought it was. I tried to watch it recently and it wasn't there. So I'm going to have to, it may be going on and off and maybe back again soon. So we'll see. I really want to watch it. It looks really cool. I think Scott Derrickson is a director that everybody should have on their watch list. I think he's made a handful of very good films over the last 10-ish years. And I think that's going to continue. I don't know if he's going to always stick to the sort of horror genre, but Scott Derrickson, keep an eye out.
I like Scott Derrickson. Yes, I agree with that. The Black Phone. Yes, I saw it too. Very fun movie. Yeah, definitely recommend. All right. Yeah. My number 2 has remained unchanged for very many months. It is Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, okay. All the way at the number 2.
Love it. Ultimate dad movie of all time. Your television cannot handle it.
Yeah.
Nope.
It's unfair to TV
It's wonderful.
screens.
It's unfair to TV screens. When it drops on Paramount Plus later this month, RIP to that app. I don't know if it can handle it.
It is going to be playing in the background. It's going to replace Fox News as the most played in the background of
probably. Yes. You know what? Yeah, every business with TV should just leave Top Gun Maverick on a loop. That is the least divisive thing in the world. Everyone loves
There's something for everyone.
Every barbershop, every golf center, golf galaxy.
Just turn TNT into the Top Gun Maverick channel.
The Magnolia Center at Best Buy is just going to be selling theaters out the gate.
That's what I was going to say was like the electronics and entertainment center in friggin' Walmart. I just want that.
You want to buy that theater? It's $2,000.
Love it.
Take my money. Here's my wallet. You get what you need.
David, what is your number 2?
My number 2 recurring theme is Glass Onion, a Knives Out story. We talked about it already.
I love it.
We can say.
I love how high we've all got it.
We've all got it, I think, in our top 5.
In our top 5, right?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
No, mine's at 6.
Sorry.
Then you have to leave. You have to leave.
Glass Onion's at 6? I thought you said it was 5.
Oh, no, Glass Onion. I'm sorry. I'm still thinking of Top Gun.
Oh, yeah. No,
it is in my top 5.
It is Andrew's number 5. I think it was Josh's number 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
listen.
And Garrett's number 4. There you go. That's pretty funny.
My top 3 is splitting hairs.
Oh, yeah.
There's not much of a gap between how much I love them.
Well,
Andrew,
it went 5, 4, 3, 2.
Right.
Pretty crazy.
Okay. All right. My number 2 is weird.
Weird the Al story.
Right. Wonderful.
Weird Al Yankovic story.
Love that for Al. Good job, Alfred.
Because this movie was everything I wanted out of Weird Al, and I'm so happy that it exists.
I agree with that.
A stirring tribute.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Again, my number 2 is The Menu. We talked about it. I really liked this a lot. I liked the presentation. I liked the story. I liked the mystery a little bit more than Glass Onion, and I connected with that elements. The elements that they had, I resonated with just a little bit more than the elements that connected Glass Onion. They're very close. They're so good. You should definitely see them both. They're
for sure. And hey, The Menu came out just very recently. So that jumped right into your top 5.
Yeah. Beautiful.
I just saw it yesterday.
Oh, super fresh on your mind then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I thought you meant the movie yesterday about the Beatles.
Yesterday.
Oh no.
Great.
Josh, you're number 1.
Here we are.
I feel hang on before we get to it. Listen, I feel like there's a good chance that this is everybody's number 1. Can we all agree? David, you already know.
I don't know that David saw it.
No, it's not my number 1, so I can say my number 1 and let you guys talk about.
Maybe that makes more sense. Yeah. What is it, David?
My number 1 is Something in the Way. It's the Batman.
Oh, okay.
And it will always be my number 1 movie.
You really loved the Batman.
Really loved it. Really, can't wait to watch it again. Everything about it, great. I'm very flowy about it. Yeah. Terrific movie. But I'm very excited. I think Andrew's frozen again. I'm gonna let
that or he's in the smile. I don't know.
He's done both.
I am gonna let you guys now talk about what I assume is all of your number 1 movies.
I think so. So my number 1 movie is Everything Everywhere All at Once. It has been since I think February or January when I saw it. I've never seen anything like it. Marvel is doing all the multiverse stuff, but it is easily the best multiverse movie of them all. Sorry. I know everyone says it. It's the truth.
I know.
Nominations haven't even been announced, but it's my pick for Best Picture at the Oscars. It's just wonderful. It's very touching. It's got a great heart to it. There's so many good performances. Michelle Yeoh is an icon. Jamie Lee Curtis is extremely good in it. Just great movie. Lovely movie. What do you guys think? Are we on the same page? Number 1.
Yeah, Everything Everywhere All at Once is my number 1 movie of the year too. It hasn't moved since I saw it, and I agree. You look at Doctor Strange, right? That was the other big multiverse movie that came out this year. And the thing that the Marvel movies lack is that the multiverse is a purpose of a bigger thing. It's a bigger part of it, telling a bigger story. It's just a vessel that you can use to have a Matt Reeves Batman. That I know that's not the same thing, but you get my point.
Yeah.
But for this, it does have that heart. It has something that you can connect to as a person, and it's not superhero. I mean, it's superhero, but it's regular. It's got that element that Marvel can't have necessarily.
No.
Because that is serving a bigger purpose. And so, yeah, this delivers on what it is. It's super weird also, which is always a big tick for me. All of the performances, as you have said, the resurgence of the certain performer that we have in there is beautiful to see. It is just unlike anything I've seen.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I do want to say I've heard a lot of great things about it. The MCU, Marvel, and they're wanting to get in this multiverse thing, but it's got so much baggage that it's hard to tell just a good, clean story about the multiverse. I think that Into the Spider-Verse did a great job of that, but nothing else really has. Andrew?
Everything Everywhere All at Once. and like, I agree with everybody with what everybody said. And the thing is that it's just a different film. It's a different film, and it's so mesmerizing. The fact that only 5 people worked on the visual effects still astounds me. That's number 1. Number 2 is that it's brilliantly written, it's brilliantly directed, it's brilliantly filmed, and brilliantly acted. There's not much more else I can say to Everything Everywhere All at Once, except for it is one of the best movies of this decade, and this is only 2022. And I'm I'm curious right now, since this is only 2022, like where this movie's going to sit 50 years from now. Because we're going to have so many movies come out, but the thing is that like right now, this is in the running for me of like top 10 movies of the 2000s.
Very high praise.
That's really good.
But you're not the only one I've heard say. A lot of people are loving it.
Yeah.
I do want to watch it. I really do want to watch it. And every time it would pop up on HBO Max. I'm like, oh, great, finally. I'm going to watch that this weekend. And then the weekend would come and it was off HBO Max again. I'm like, what?
Typical.
What? Why don't they want me to see this movie?
The top review on Letterboxd for this movie is from a Saturday Night Live cast member, Bowen Yang, if you're familiar with him. And he wrote, 5 stars. This is one of the best things I've ever seen in my piece of shit life. And if that's not a glowing review, I don't know what is.
Love Bowen. I didn't know he had a Letterboxd. Gonna have to follow Bowen.
Go follow him. Top review on everywhere.
Not a lot of. I see. Maybe it's controversial. That iceberg sketch or a bit that he did on Saturday Night Live, where he was the iceberg that hit the Titanic.
You're gonna say things. This is for David. Oh, you love it.
I love it.
Oh, okay.
You thought I was gonna hate it?
You were ready to attack.
You were gonna hate it. I was ready to attack. No. I apologize. I retract my thumbs down.
It cracks me up so much, and it's funnier. It got even funnier when I listened to the Conan Needs a Friend podcast with Bowen Yang, where he explained the idea behind it, and made it even funnier. Rewatched it immediately after the podcast. I was like, oh god. How did I not see? Yeah, hilarious.
All right. With 3 out of the 4 choosing Everywhere All at Once as our favorite movie of the year, I think that makes it to So Many Sequels best movie of 2022.
I think so.
It's 3 out of 4. I don't know what to tell you, David.
So collectively, I tried to keep track of this. I'm not going to create a concrete top 5, at least not yet. But collectively, the 4 of us shared 12 movies. I'll run through them real quick. Nope, Weird Al, The Fabelmans, Pinocchio, Elvis, Bullet Train, Glass Onion, Chip 'n Dale, The Menu, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, The Batman, and Top Gun Maverick. So those are the 12 movies we shared. Top Gun and The Batman were the only movies to appear on all 4 lists. Everything appeared on 3 of the 4. And then Glass Onion might have the most
aggregate overall. That's definitely
Glass Onion might have the most consistent placing, although 3 number 1s is pretty darn consistent. So
that's true.
And so I would say I think it's comfortable to say Everything and then Glass Onion and then maybe Top Gun or The Batman probably.
That's true.
What sits as our top 4 at least.
That's true. We'll have to crunch some more numbers for our wrapped graphics before
do some ranked choice voting and things like that.
All right. Before we wrap up, does anyone want to quickly say what the worst movie they saw was? Just the worst one on your
Amsterdam was the worst damn movie I've seen all damn year. It was awful. I hated every minute of it. And I really wish I hadn't seen it. Every cast member that they claimed to be in there maybe was on screen for 2 minutes at total.
Oh, man. What a pain.
It is a list of cameos. It is boring. There's no charm whatsoever. Chris Rock's funny. Thank God he's there. Outside of that, Taylor Swift is there, and that is the only cameo worth experiencing.
Oh, man.
It's really just a tragedy.
How was my boy Timothy Oliphant?
I couldn't tell you that he was in it. Couldn't tell he was really out just as bad as everyone else did.
I know he was wearing a lot of makeup in it. I don't know if he was a cop or not. That's the important part.
No, it was really a big disappointment. I'm looking at my rankings and I've changed it since I ranked it. So it's going to drop. It is a 1.5 star, but it will be much lower than that.
Wow.
Because that's the bad and entertaining. And this was not entertaining.
Wow.
This is going to be pretty, everybody's going to say this, I think, or a lot of people are going to say this, pretty basic pick. But for me, it was more, skipped it early on at the beginning of the year, finally caught it on Netflix towards the end, and it was as bad as advertised. Disappointing, I'll say Wendell and Wild.
Oh, really?
Like that. Yeah.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Andrew, did you have a worst movie of the year? I don't know what that's supposed to be. What are you guys?
He's trying to make a new intro. Andrew, you trying to make a new intro for us?
He's striking opposing?
I don't know what this movie is.
Pulp Fiction?
I'm losing this charades game.
On the podcast, listeners are very confused.
You're going to have to come clean, Andrew. What does it rhyme with?
I don't know. My internet was cutting out.
Oh, okay. So you're just dancing till your internet came back. Okay.
Yes.
What was the worst movie you saw this year?
Jurassic Park Dominion, hands down.
Wow. Okay. It wasn't good, but not my worst.
No, that and a close runner-up was Thor: Love and Thunder.
Oh, that might be too harsh, Andrew. I don't know.
I also think it's too harsh, but I didn't love it. This was a middling Marvel year for me. I will unfortunately have to say.
Yep.
All right, hang
Marvel
on.
movies this year were not good.
Hi.
Sorry. We have a guest.
I'm laughing because all of a sudden I just hear a little voice.
Josh, what's your worst? And then we'll wrap it up.
The worst movie I saw this year was Disney's live-action Pinocchio, just because it was really lazy and it didn't add anything. The original one is still way better. It just wasn't no reason for it. And I'm not usually super harsh on the live-action remakes. I do really like some of them. I do think it's a cop-out kind of thing for them to keep doing, but this one was just really, no one wanted it.
Part of me always wonders if it's with the really old ones, if it's just so they can have a version of it up that they can say is sanitized of the not appropriate things,
the racial issues and whatnot. Yeah,
things,
the child,
the alcohol and the cigarette and cigars and stuff like that, and then also the racial components of other movies. Because Lady and the Tramp, I feel like was a fairly decent new adaptation.
I forgot that existed,
and they sanitized that.
Didn't watch it. That's a pretty dull list of movies for being the worst ones of the year.
It's true. Okay. We'll cut that for the TikTok.
That's our 2022. Thank you all for joining us for the ride. Stick around for 2023. We got all kinds of new stuff coming. The return of Pick a Pit. I don't know. I can promise that.
We'll have some. You know what we can promise people? We're gonna have some new movies. We're gonna have some sequels. We're gonna have some themed months. We're gonna have so many Santas, and we're gonna have the return of our favorites, in my opinion, the horror October. It's gonna be a very exciting year. There are probably some good movies coming out, but we're gonna pick them, and it's gonna be good.
I think 2023 is gonna be a great year.
I agree. I hope so. All right, everybody, have a safe new year. Don't do anything too crazy. We'll see you all sometime. We're going to take some time off as we usually do, but we will see you very soon with 2023 movies. Can't wait.
Sounds good.